Hey, Glenny, how you doing, mate?
Fuck you, you piece of shit cunt.
Oh, what's wrong, Glenny?
You're both a pack of cunts.
Welcome to This Week in League.
Oh, that was an almost prophetic opening.
Oh,
Pathetic, some would say.
You would never believe it, but someone actually picked that opening. It's episode 523, by the way. Bit of a joke there. People will get it if they get it, and if not,
Fuck them.
you know, you should have done. If you had done what I tell you to do at the end of every episode, you would have done it.
If
you would have got it.
If you kept up to date with our Facebook group, you had the world's greatest sense of deja cunts back then.
And if you had have done what I'd tell you to do every episode, you would have gone and fucked yourself.
Which, I mean, you know, is a healthy thing, they say.
Yeah, apparently.
But
Go and clean out your pipes.
now, how are you really, Glenny? Because let's just a little bit of the inside story here. We were intending, and I'm so glad for your sake that we didn't, because it would have been fucking miserable.
But I also know how it looks, and I was like, fuck, the cringeworthiness of that alone was more frustrating.
Yeah, we were going to, but you know, the point is for the patrons, we were going to be doing the second half of the time, like we've done a dozen times, like the Tigers game, right? Second half,
and Glenny has never been shy about taking his medicine.
No, I mean, and in fact, you know, given the state of the Tigers, I mean, he's taking a lot of fucking medicine. He's pretty much getting chemo, like every time. So, it's not even the good medicine. It's not even like the. I was going to say
I smell like aniseed, but you went straight for chemo, which is probably more appropriate. And explains my hairline.
But so what? That game would have been the 5:30 game. So. Get it at 6:43 p.m. on Saturday. We get the text in our joint texting. I know how this looks, but I've legit just woken up as I've been nursing a hangover. Things haven't quite gone according to the Big Diesel's plan. To which I replied, "It sounds like a chest infection.
It really does.
Rest up."
It does. It really fucking did, but it wasn't. And I would have had no matter how much fucking worse could have got. No matter how bad it would have been going, if I was there watching the first half of that game, I would have logged on and we would have gone through it and you would have had your fun and I would have fucking borderline ended it all. But I
can't remember what it was. What was it at half time? I can't even remember how bad it was. I mean, it was bad, obviously.
Neil.
I was in the 40s then, was it? Okay, right.
But I celebrated a very successful financial year with my my business partner and our wives, and got home rather late after probably mixing a few too many different types of drinks, and felt fine. Got up, felt fine. Literally, I was like, the Big Diesel just keeps on chugging along. Just keeps chugging along.
The day he had his first drink.
Yeah.
I fucking love that Glenny's sniffing his own fumes here with
It's
Big Diesel.
Hang on, I created
the Big Diesel cannot be derailed.
No.
It's like the whole Titanic unsinkable thing. The Big Diesel cannot be derailed.
Look, the Big Diesel, I did give myself that nickname, as fucking wankerish as that is. I love it. You've got to have an element of wanker in your game, and I've got it in spades. But
I love it. It's your new personal brand.
But so it felt fine. Went through my morning. We got Jackson off to work. We're fucking just killing it. Absolutely killing it. Managed to got home, had a little bit of lunch. Oof. Bit of a headache starting to kick in. Had some water, some Panadol. This headache's, it's coming on strong. It's really not, it didn't even take the edge off. Jeez, I'm fucking tired. Might just by this time it was about just before 3 o'clock. Might have to park it. I might have to park the Big Diesel up in the shed for a little kip. And I managed.
It all came off the track.
Fucking, mate, if I told you how hard I slept, I cannot fucking stress. I went into a coma, and the only thing, and it pains me to admit it, the only thing that woke me up was my phone going absolutely fucking mental at half time. Well, I'm assuming it was at half time.
People texting you and shit.
And
about
primarily Shane Cash.
Yeah, of course. I knew he'd be in there.
Just giving it to me. We'd had a bet about
fucking nerve of him showing his face after they got nearly fucking they got 50 burgers or whatever the other night.
This is the state of our teams, right? And I'll put my team in with his bunch of cunts. We had a bet whose team was going to lose by less, and there was a six-pack on, and I was like, I'm not even going to lose this game. I'm fucking sweet. That's how confident I was. So he is feeding it to me along with probably 5 or 6 other people, and it's just the constant buzz, buzz, it broke its way into the coma and woke me up. I looked at the time. I'd legitimately passed out for 3.5 hours. And to say I didn't wake up with a pep in my step would be a reasonable understatement. I was like, oh, this isn't good. Shane Cash has come out from under his rock, and that can only mean one thing. So I had a look at the score, and I was like, oh, get fucked. And it's half time. Oh, fuck. These cunts are going to be waiting for me to log on and record. And I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it. I literally put my head back. I sent you the message, put my head back down and passed out. So, again.
Because the thing is, when it's not a game like that, the thing is that you get, like, it's not as fun either. Nah. Like the hope is kind of part of it. You know what I mean? Like you need a bit of the hope in there and like the opportunity.
And it's not even like it's not like we spend the entire time in those membersades. And if you haven't experienced them, please give us your money and listen in. But we do talk about a multitude of other things as the game's going on.
What I think it's most like back in the day when we were doing sort of 3-hour episodes regularly and we'd just go on tangents about shit.
Yeah.
And just, and like ride the fucking thing all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And then go, okay, and then where were we? Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right, yeah.
You know, TWiL's fucking, cold cocked the guy.
And then, but in those days, I'd then drive home asleep and fucking at 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yes, yeah.
Now
I'll tell you, I almost had a memberside at home though, because my daughter was just sitting on the couch while I was watching the game, and she was just crocheting or and like watching YouTube and shit, and then she's just looking up now and then, and she's noticing that the score keeps going up, and then the other side's staying on 0, and she's like, that's so sad for them. And I said, that's Uncle Glenny's team, and she's like. And she goes, why do people like that team? And I said,
it's an excellent question.
So I said, look, I got to ask Glenny. So I text. So she's like, it's so sad that the one team got 74 and the other team got 0, and then so I said, okay, look, send you the questions.
I do
little
love
kids asking these questions here.
I was quite proud of my answer though.
I do love how the coaching idioms come out in the kids. Like they're seeing at home, they're seeing the score, and they're like, "I tell ya, if I was their coach, I just wouldn't accept that they're not trying, and I'd bench some of them." Which is exactly the same things I say to them.
Yep. And if there's a positive to come out of this absolute, and if I could steal a J-ism, this absolute cunt circus of a club.
Can I tell you, just to interject, I fucking love it. Cunt circus is like is part of my day. Like instead of like people might say shit show or something.
Yeah.
Cunt circus is my number one.
Yep. It's
go-to phrase for anything like kind of that genre.
Well, actually, I had a coffee today with a product support guy from the cat dealer, and I had great pleasure in telling him that his organisation at present is an absolute cunt circus. He was like, I've never heard that term before. I was like, but it's one of my faves. I stole it from a guy, but I fucking love it.
Sorry, please continue before you're talking about cunt circuses.
No, but if there is a positive coming out of that, is that young children can actually look at that and go, you know what? People can tell when we're not fucking trying. So when we're out there playing our sport at 8, 9, we actually need to show that we're making an effort. What a fucking novel concept.
I know.
Maybe the West Tigers could try that.
Yeah, and like Joe was saying, I mean, the beautiful thing is, as a coach, you can identify players that aren't trying and stuff, and then you can make changes to the side for the next game they play. And wait till we get to team list Tuesday for this week.
I can't wait.
I can tell you, I want to give you a preview, Glennie. The Tigers' changes were strictly made through suspension and injury only. Not one
pick and stick,
performance
mate.
related.
Pick and stick.
Well, yeah, you got to show loyalty in the boys, I suppose, right? Now, the C grade touch update is that you're still on. Obviously, even if the season was going, the Big Diesel was not fronting up, not living up to team standards for Saturday. That's for sure.
Oh no! I wouldn't have had the night that I had if I was playing the next day. No chance. No way. No how.
So you keep yourself right for C grade, but not for the patrons.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Yeah,
gotcha.
It's more the physical activity element of it.
Does the C grade touch pay you some of their hard earned money to show up every week? Or?
No, they're smart.
Oh,
they're smart. They're like, we get to put up with this guy's bullshit, even though we don't want to, but at least we don't have to pay for it. Would do that.
Do you reckon the club would be okay if they started to get phone calls from, reporters from the Courier Mail wanting to do a story on how they feel about having the Big Diesel play at their club?
And do they understand what they have, and are they excited by it?
Are they planning any merchandise? Have they got a banner to run out at the commencement of the season?
Hey, Glennie.
I said it before.
Ballpark. Can you give me? Can you give me a ballpark, mate? How many games you played?
So far in this winter comp, we've had two, a bye, a win, a loss, a draw.
No, but you went around last year too, didn't you?
Oh, for the back end of last season, yeah. So
what do you reckon? You played a dozen, you reckon?
Yeah, maybe 10, 12 games. Yeah.
So you would ask them, they got anything planned for the 50? For the milestone game for the Big D's, yeah, right. They're going to get one of those AFL style fucking tifos out, and everyone's got to run through it.
I said to Bradley, because he is fucking lapping up the Big Diesel thing. Loves it.
He's loving it, yeah.
He's like, this is the fucking worst / best thing ever. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
But
wait till he starts getting the phone calls. You tell us what it's like to know the Big D's.
I'm keeping all of that shit. I'm keeping all of that shit in my pocket because I swear, if you guys get to your final, I'll fucking go up there and I'll make a 30 for 30, talking to people, getting a whole ton of B-roll. I will make a 30 for 30 for Patreon, about Big Diesel,
spiking Glen with heroin
about Big Diesel season
the night before, so he doesn't make the game. The Glen bias story.
Oh wow, Jack! Please make a note of that.
I am.
But yeah, Jax is on board to provide some colour commentary as required.
Nah, no.
We got Redpath there. He's driving up there as well.
Have to,
so we got a legit agent going up.
You need a different angle with Jax though. But you need people to seriously go at him about how great you are, and if he's appreciated what a great athlete his father is, and how
what
good
about his boss?
How good is it? The D's is the most important thing to ever happen to that club. The D's' contribution to that club outshines everyone else in the team.
Oh my god! Jackson's boss has said because he's organised some stuff for us. Obviously we're a customer there, and he's asked his boss a question. He's like, "Who's it for again?" Because it's for Dad. He goes, "No, mate, you don't refer to him as Dad. You refer to him as the superior touch player in the family." This is his boss.
Nice.
He's like, I'm already getting bullied at work. This is bullshit.
It's a shame though that he didn't say no. It's for the Big Diesel.
Yeah, well, he's not he's not across the Big Diesel name just yet.
Yeah, Then soon. It'll be a name up there. It'll be a name up there that is mentioned in the same sort of tier as Berghofer.
I just honestly, can you imagine the people in Toowoomba that have had a little void in their life filled by touch football, and this fucking big mouth, no name, no ability, fucking pleb I fucking love it. It's hilarious.
There have been sporting careers made out of less, Glennie.
Oh, funny.
Right.
Good times.
Let's talk games.
Oh, fucking can't wait.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is one that you'll enjoy. With the Sharkies 52 defeating the Dragons 16 at Reclaim Australia Stadium. The Sharkies 52 came through tries to Nico Hines, Jesse Ramian, Hazelton, a double to Britton Nicola and a double to the Mutt. Kennedy and Talakai also with tries. Nico 8 of 9 conversions. The Dragons 16 tries to Rawalawa, Tautau Monga and Tyrell Sloan. Lomax 2 conversions from 3 attempts.
24-16 in the 50th minute in this game. The last 25 minutes or so was fucking diabolical from Dragons. Absolutely fucking just dropped the bag. There was still those couple of moments from Sloan, which has to give him hope, but it's a sliver.
They have definitely they have chucked it they have chucked it in. They have chucked it in. Ben Hunt has fucking chucked it in. No longer
he's
can we talk
actually
about
fucking
him
his reputation though. This whole situation is fucking his reputation more than anything.
Yeah, because the one aspect of Ben Hunt that we have been appreciating and giving credit to over all of this last couple of years is how he is by far the best player in that fucking club, and how he is carries them on his back. But now, like that defensive effort for that try where he sort of was doing jumping jacks.
Yeah,
out of the line.
It's very difficult to carry a team on your back when you already have all your worldly possessions packed in a backpack, which is already on your back. You can't then put the team on there as well when you're already trying to fucking hightail it out of the fucking joint. So,
that's an unpopular opinion. I'm not sure in this situation, I don't think his reputation takes any long-term damage. Only because he stayed with that club for so long and he put the effort in through all of the actual upheaval. Like when there was all of the other coaching shit going on and the fucking DeBellin stuff and all of this other stuff, he just put his head down and played footy.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came to it where he said, after they'd sacked the coach, after giving him the assurance that no, everything was sweet, then they go ahead and fuck the coach off. Again, don't get me wrong, I'm not standing up for Hook, but for him to then go, no, I need out of here. For them to go, we're not going to entertain anything that you want. After all that you've shown us, we're giving you nothing in return. I'm not sure.
They gave him millions of dollars.
Yeah, I feel like he's. He also signed an extension during that upheaval.
Yeah, this is the first time a club has actually dug in for fucking ages.
Yeah, and again, I'm not anti clubs digging in, but I'm just saying I don't think his reputation takes a hit.
I think it's just so far like he only just extended and he's so little into that extension deal. It's like it's pretty fucking poor. I think that's probably the worst thing for his not so much he's playing, but the fact that he's trying to agitate for a release like not even a year into 3 years.
The conditions that he signed that extension on, and the coach that was going to be there. And you remember he had assurances from the club that Hook would be the coach. Now, at the end of the day, that's on him for not putting it in the deal. Because so many fucking players...
I was going to say, because Tino Fasuamala-Aui and fucking David Fafita for two, their contracts are void because of Holbrook being sacked. So, which I think is just the most fucking ridiculously dumb shit I've ever heard in my life come from the Titans management. Yeah. Like, to fucking agree to that is just ridiculous.
But also, why are those guys fucking so hung up on why were they so hung up on Holbrook? Like... fuck did that
Yeah, because it wasn't Holbrook. Because Holbrook almost killed David Fafita's career. Kieran Foran's the one that fucking brought him back to life.
If you're a manager, you want every fucking get out clause you possibly can. Because how many times has an NRL player of any sort of standard, and especially rep players, how many times has their contract gone backwards? Not many.
Yeah.
Right? Mm. So if you're a manager, you want every get out clause you possibly can. Because when that's activated, your pay goes up.
Fair.
Yeah.
Just on the Sharks, I think Kennedy is continuing along a bit of a career year trajectory at the back there for Cronulla, and he's a genuine game breaker come finals time. If Cronulla can just crack the code of how to hang with the top sides and give him the opportunities in big moments to provide his influence on the game, I think that's the big thing for Cronulla, which we've spoken about. They're struggling to beat, the top 8 and certainly the top 4 sides, or even hang with them to make it a contest. If they can get around that, I think Kennedy is a guy that even the better teams are going to struggle to handle come finals time.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of these ones that doesn't really add anything to the credentials of the Sharks, I don't think. Because the big knock on them is game. Yeah, this game. Yeah. It's the Dragons are most certainly they may be the first club, maybe even if it was only by 24 hours.
Yeah, well, no one's taking anything away from the first club.
The first club to chuck it in for this season, perhaps. And maybe and even if it's just Hunt chucking it in. And that's and then that's just sort of the result of him chucking it in.
He's their only player.
Yeah.
Ash from the social said, Mary was a shoulder injury to Widdop away from taking this club to a grand final, and we've descended into a complete rabble since they sent him packing. You can go back to Wayne, then to David Waite, and further if you wish. They sack coaches that have had success in the immediate rearview mirror and hope for the best. They're a joke.
Yeah, but also Mary, their results were fucked by the time he was getting he got extensions through shithouse results as well. He had he was given a fairly long rope. I think he was given a longer rope than most of them, right?
Phil ran up the score in the end, but if I was a Sharks fan, I'd be a little worried about how long the Dragons were in that game. Mitch, now that I think about it, I actually do like the current bye system. No need to change a thing. Thomas, Ben Hunt deciding to play to the standards of the rest of the team for the remainder of the season is just desserts every Dragons fan deserves for standing by their team after they welcomed a rapist back with open arms and a captaincy. And yes, Kieran, he said, well, that was easy and expected. Nice one.
Okay, the Rabbitohs 28 defeat the Warriors 6 over in Go Media Stadium. The Rabbitohs 28, their tries came through a double to AJ. Tries to Taffy, Murray and Munro. Taffy 3 conversions and a penalty goal. The Warriors singular try to Marcelo Montoya. Sean Johnson with the conversion.
I'm not sure how much of a part the conditions played, but I think this one, maybe Souths aren't quite as cooked as they'd been looking, and maybe the Warriors still have a little bit more progress to make than we gave them credit for. I think South, when they had their opportunities, their execution was back somewhere where you'd expect it to be, which has been lacking in the last sort of month or so. And there's reasons for that with Latrell out, etc. But and Walker's been on the wrong side of the red mist. So in this game, I thought they were pretty controlled and got their advantages on the edges. The Warriors are playing a really compressed defensive line, and they attacked them on the edges and created numbers, and that's where most of their points came from.
Honestly, I'm struggling to remember what happened in this game.
Yeah, I was in a fucking COVID coma for this game.
Are you tested negative again yet, or you seem fine?
I haven't.
You seemed fine last week, though. Really,
I haven't tested again.
Pretty much.
The worst part, touch wood, my chest. Like normally, shit goes to my chest. Like it's really fucking bad.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, I've had a cough for 6 years.
That's it. But thankfully, that didn't get touched. It was just the fucking tiredness and the body aches.
Yeah.
As in, I'd get up and literally do half an hour of typing, like that level of exertion, and need to nap for an hour.
Yeah.
It was fucking woeful. Fucking baby handled it like a champion. Had a couple of fucking shitty nights where he didn't understand why he couldn't breathe and probably thought he was going to feel like that forever, and it scared the fuck out of him, but fucking handled it, and he's back, so yes, touch wood. He's fucking genetically gifted, so. Ryan. The socials.
I'm not sure.
He handled it. He handled it better than you. So I mean, yeah, I guess it come from mum.
Well, he didn't have any more vax than what he was getting through the old booby fountains. So
yeah,
Ryan.
There you go.
He said it's about time Souths woke up. It is Thomas. Please God, don't let this just be a 1 week reprieve from the slide. Dan. Amazed at how high the completions from both teams were, considering they decided to play at a local pool instead of a footy stadium. Can I point that out? Have you noticed this growing trend over the last couple of years? Remember it used to be the rain would start and both teams would play wet weather footy, which was essentially one out runs, like very safe, like short passes, a lot of grubbers, trying to get it to stop dead in a wet wet goal. Whereas now, they just play exactly footy as they would in the dry, and I don't think the quality suffered.
It's a new age. Players have got more skills. They're not farmers anymore, butchers and garbos. They're professional rugby league players.
in most of the games.
Lachlan, can South play all games in New Zealand from now on, please? But without Klein refereeing. Asking for a friend. Dom, those 2 years in the Central Coast and Redcliffe fucked us. Now we forgot how to play in the wet. No excuses. Rabbits handled the conditions better and defence stopped everything thrown at them. With the penalty count and possession early, we should have taken advantage, put more on the board. Also, Ashley Klein is a real fuckwit and gives baldy guys a real bad name. There you go.
Yeah, there's nothing innovative there. I mean, how that guy keeps falling upwards is just fucking unbelievable. I mean, like, yeah.
No.
But I mean, it's a conversation now where it's like almost like, who's the best referee, and it's not. I don't think that there's. It's not like clear cut.
I would say Grant Atkins.
Yeah, see, I would have too, but he's had some fucking barries as well. Like this, like this season, or even at the start of the season, I would have said that's who I would have said.
Has he, or has he had some shitty like games in like shitty bunker decisions that he's just been around?
This weekend especially was fucking horrific with some of the decisions, and one of them was in the next game. Panthers 34 defeat the Storm 16 down at Marvel Stadium. Why were they fucking playing down there instead of the Korean Housewife? That's something that I wasn't paying attention or whatever.
Women's Soccer World Cup.
They haven't started yet. They only just started turning up.
I don't know. Isn't that why the Broncos couldn't play in Suncorp?
Yeah. But they haven't started playing games yet, though. No, have they?
I don't know.
I only saw like some of the teams only arrived today.
Maybe the surface is prepped and they can't.
Maybe they're sick of the fucking seagulls like everyone else. Anyway, the Panthers 34, their tries came to Stephen Crichton, Liam Martin, Zach Hosking, Brian To'o, and a double to Tungo. Crichton 5 of 6 conversions. The Storm 16 tries to Grant and Asafa Solomona. Meany 2 conversions, 2 penalty goals. That fucking Nelson try. Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. If it was if we were in the age before video referees and the guy on field had to give it, fuck yeah, 100 times out of 100 you give it, because I mean the big cunt slid across the line, he had the ball tucked under his arm. Of course he fucking scored the try. When you have the benefit of watching a replay and watching the thing fucking roll around in the vortex between his hand and his chest, all the way to the line,
which is not a small fucking vortex either. Like, there's a fair bit of fucking real estate there.
It's like it's funny. Like, I mean, like, it's ref's fault, whatever. But like, you always feel like that when your team scores a try and then the referee sends it upstairs, or if it's a referee that you don't have a great relationship with, or he always fucks your team, or whatever, you always think you say, oh, they're looking for a reason not to give it.
Yep.
It appears like over the last since Origin 2 onwards, it's like they're looking for any fucking glimmer of a reason to give it.
Which is, look, that's sports 101. Right? Offense brings eyeballs.
That's true. But I mean, like,
we knew it this year.
The ball's got to go through the net.
I know. Like, I get it. I get it.
Like
the AF.
If we start giving them tries for near enough, it's fucking AFL, isn't it? Yeah. Or maybe they go, look, we understand people aren't happy with, some of these line ball tries have been given, so we're only going to make them 3 points.
Yeah.
With the conversion, at 1 point in the conversion.
We're just going to go one better than AFL, and we're going to call it a close. So you get 3 points for a close.
Yeah.
Look, we knew it this year, like that the new interpretation of the grounding rule and downward pressure, and it's if you're
means you don't have to fucking ground it at all.
if your finger has touched the ball in
The
the
thing,
last 30
and
seconds.
it's not like it's a 2023 thing. It's only like since like the last round before Origin, and then through Origin we had that first try Queensland
through the
scored,
video
and then,
refs, yes, but all year there's been the interpretation on grounding and shit given that never would have been given because it didn't regain, because the whole thing about regaining control now doesn't exist. If you let go of the ball, but you get a finger on it as it's being grounded,
still counts.
That's it, still counts. So you don't have to regain control before the ball hits the ground, any of that shit. Look, fans of lesser clubs, stuff like referees having all-time fucking barries and forgetting the rules of the game may derail them, but not this Penrith Panthers side.
I mean, you said fans of lesser clubs. Can I tell you that the Penrith Panthers have some of the most sensitive and loudly complaining fans in the history of the game
of any sport, not just.
Admittedly, they pretty much only started watching rugby league in 2020, but still, nevertheless, look, they've got on Twitter and they've got opinions.
Some people just leave tags on jerseys so they can return it if it's the wrong size. It was an excellent display of mental fortitude, and it's getting back to that attitude that the boys had right throughout both their premiership campaigns, where it didn't matter the flow of the game. Like when the other team seemed to stride forward and really get on top in the arm wrestle, it wasn't as if Penrith then buckled. They just understood that over the course of 80 minutes, they had this unrelenting fucking faith, and maybe this is the power of prayer circles, that if you believe in shit that's not there, it's still a very strong belief. It's that whole thing of, well, no one blames God for giving the babies cancer, but God's a fucking miracle worker when the cancer's cured. So they just know that over 80 minutes they're going to get there. And that ability to not play to the scoreboard is fucking priceless. And I haven't seen a lot of it recently. There have been games where it's been fairly obvious that the pressure of the scoreboard's gotten to them. But that was a different side. And I don't know whether it was the guys coming back after an Origin rest or just them going, okay, cool, second half of the year, Origin's done, time to knuckle down towards the finish line, let's fucking go. But the way they held themselves together, especially in defence, and just dictated terms to the Storm all night. There aren't many sides that can frustrate the Melbourne Storm. And that's where it seemed to be by the end of that game. As soon as Penrith went into halftime in the lead, you could see those Storm players. Imagine thinking, okay, fuck yeah, we're going in to, at worst, a neutral Bellamy conversation here. But then all of a sudden, you've blown a fucking 14-0 dickheads, and then you're going in to get fucking reamed.
And this is the thing. I mean, there's like a lot being made of Panthers' attitude and all this sort of thing. But the most important factor in this game was once they got to that 14-point lead, they're the ones that fucking dropped it on the set coming out of their own end. They invited the Panthers with three consecutive, well, not consecutive, but three bad mistakes to give the field position that allowed those tries to be scored to give that halftime lead. Yeah. They fucking blew it themselves, and they could just never get themselves back into. And once they'd done that, that was it. They were never given an opportunity to even fucking try and get back into
that's
it.
There's been a couple of comments to the same effect. I'm not unhappy with Mitch Kenny over the last couple of weeks. He seems to be doing more with less, and by that I mean he seems to be realising that just sitting back and doing your fucking job to a great level across the course of your time on the field will pay more dividends than trying to do the fucking hero plays, like the fucking one-on-one strips or the big massive shots that turn into fucking penalties at the worst possible time. That the risk reward of just go out there and be really fucking good at what you need to do. That's how you serve your teammates.
Mitch Kennedy FC is the most annoying FC. In the
Oh,
world,
it's
though.
fucking dreadful.
Fucking nerds.
Oh, absolutely fucking
Dead
dreadful.
set.
And the fucking son of Golden Nuts just going out there and filling slots like he knows he should.
Good as as
I'll
good
tell
as
you what,
he's
erasing the fucking career of Nathan Cleary, because frankly, he is living fucking proof of the system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I mean, that he might be a laser, he might be a fucking 3D printed plastic version, but it still fits in the machine, and the machine works exactly the same.
But this is that thing, though. The fact that rugby league's this game where a single superstar player can break open a fucking thing and give a premiership. Like, the closest we've come to that's Jared Hayne in 2009. And couldn't get the job done, given that the Storm were a bunch of cheating cunts and were, 9 times over the cap. But, couldn't get all the way there. How often has one player... Now, a player can be important to their team and be the difference between a winning season and a losing season. But
I don't think the importance of winning these games without Cleary, regardless of how Cogger or anyone else is going, should be understated.
No, not at all.
And it is, yes, it's a testament to the system, but you're heading into the crunch time of the season as they go into the finals. They've had ups and downs with injuries and all the rest of it, and these wins are fucking important, especially this one where Melbourne were clearly up for the contest. Mm-hmm. They're playing at home, essentially. They're pretty much a full-strength side. Pappenhausen doesn't really count as a thing these days. And Penrith fucking own them.
Yeah.
They just got the job done without their most critical player. It's fucking impressive. There's no other way to put it.
But it's a fucking decent question to ask. Like, would you... Like, think back about individual players over the last little while, and if you come up with the top couple of sole contributors, like Thurston would be up there in terms of what he did, those sorts of guys. Would you give up a back-to-back system team for a one and done like the Cowboys? Because I sure as fuck wouldn't.
No. I think we're looking at, and it pains me in some ways to admit it, but you have to...
What ways? Can you describe them carefully? Slowly?
But, yeah, they cop their flack, and everyone loves a tall poppy and all the rest of it, and the whole 5-year plan, and it's been a thing for a long time. But you have to look at this team and say, it's probably it has to go down as one of, if not the best club sides in the history of the game.
Yeah.
And the fact that the most impressive part is there's now a production line set up and an academy and all the rest of it to prolong that success for fuck knows how long.
Yeah, that's it.
Despite salary cap pressures, despite players wanting to sign for more money because they've had success now and they can go and chase the bag, and I can respect that.
Fucking oath.
But it's more than a next man up. It's next prodigy up.
And I think this year also puts a lot more focus on just how special last year's team was.
Sure.
So this year to have that side be vulnerable, to drop games, or to have the rest of the pack have caught up to them a little bit, really puts into perspective what a fucking lightning in a bottle year last year was. In terms of not only the premiership and going back to back, but their record throughout the season.
Oh, of course. But this is a team that, Melbourne's a team that stood up to them, and they're playing against one of the best teams, and they still had all the answers.
Yeah.
It's fucking impressive, and I don't know what the odds are of them going, back to back to back, but I don't know that many people will be backing against them.
Look,
I think there's too many teams that aren't good enough that are up top at the moment. Like the Storm are one of them.
Yep.
South's massively selected. I mean, South's at the end of the season. I mean, if they can finish high enough, they'll probably give it a decent shake.
Yep.
But like Broncos aren't good enough.
Para's not good enough.
Para definitely not good enough. Yeah, there's just a lot of teams that just aren't good enough.
But this is that thing though, and I know I take the piss a lot and be like, like in the 2020 grand final, Melbourne didn't win, Penrith lost it. It will be up to them to lose, and it will come down to the fact: do they have enough upstairs and in the heart for a three-peat? Because that's what it will take. They'll have enough to get them home, or they just won't have that final push. And somebody who's more hungry on the day, like South's trying to win one, someone who's hungry on the day will come through. But anyway, Matt said, being a self-confessed Mitch Kenny hater, calling for him to get dropped, I'm happy to be wrong. He's starting to develop more in attack and being less of a liability with silly penalties. Definitely like what I've seen from him lately. Ryan, 14-0 dickhead. Indeed, it fucking was. Richard.
It's been a while since we had one of those, I think, isn't it?
It's undefeated. 14-0 dickhead is undefeated. Richard, the Storm started brilliantly. Got out to a fortunate lead, a position they don't generally relinquish, but the Panthers aren't your general sort of team. That comeback was brilliant, especially without Cleary. Tago had some special moments, and To'o was absolute meter-eating machine. But those Panthers forwards turned the game when things were in the balance. Fisher Harris, Sorensen, Yo and Smith all worked hard and stopped the Storm in their tracks. The Panthers are looking great. Can anyone stop them? No, they can't. Corey. Panthers played like shit for the first quarter, and the Storm were kissed on the dick with some calls. But good to see the Panthers dig deep and pull it out of the fire. Tago was massive for us tonight. Sitting in the stands, even the Storm fans were laughing at that Nas try being awarded. There we are. Yeah. Nick, tried Dairy Queening it for a bit and went for Melbourne. Hashtag fuck the Storms. Nick, I don't think you understand what Dairy Queening it is, because it is not going for the Melbourne Storm.
And not really telling anyone to fuck themselves either. You kind of that's not part of the Dairy Queen vibe.
No.
Hashtag fucking anybody.
Grover, I'm getting zucked properly if I say what I really need to say. To which...
I saw that post was left in moderation, and it was just full of N-words and F-words. Yeah. Not the good one either. Like, you're like talking like it was disgusting. No wonder Zuck's got it now.
Graham, the best side since the early 90s Broncos will take something very special to stop 3 in a row. Cathal, outfought and outclassed. Obviously hate to see it, but regardless, hats off to the Panthers class side. There we are.
All right. The Raiders 26 defeated the Titans 22 down in Canberra. The Raiders 26 tries to Albert Hopewate. Chris Timoko, Starling, 4 conversions and a penalty goal to Croker. Titans tries to Fafita D, Fafita Jojo, Khan Pereira, Tino, and 3 conversions to Tanner Boyd.
Look, since you don't ref's fault when you win, I'm going to fucking go nuts on behalf of fucking the Titans fans here.
They got fucked on 2 occasions in this game. That try before halftime to Fafita was 100% fucking valid try.
And I know the memes going around and everyone's seen them on social media. But if you run into the path of a player when they're going for a kick, that's an escort and it's a penalty against you.
Yep.
But if you run into the path of a player who is attempting to score a try, you run in front of them and stop and they hit you in the back, it's a push in the back. And even though they fucking barrel over you, little fucking illegitimate weak ass, and score, they get that taken away.
It was a contest for the ball. There's no problem.
But here's the thing: I get if there is a contest, if there is a legitimate contest for the ball, and you receive a push in the back, the ruling has been very clear. Most of the times you've ever seen it happen, that contact by the hand and then an extension of the arm, forceful extension of the arm, push in the back, try disallowed.
Yep.
But that wasn't what happened. He fucking ran in front of him and stopped.
Yeah. Because he's waiting. He's trying to judge a bouncing ball.
That's it.
Yeah.
So,
it's fucking bullshit. And then after half time as well, they had that situation where I can't remember what the infraction was, but something happened and they were given 6 to go, and then then possession changed immediately. There was no advantage, and then the Raiders picked it straight up, ran like the field, scored try, and there was no advantage. It happened the instant that whatever the preceding, I can't remember what it was, but whatever the preceding thing was, it happened instantly. There was zero advantage. the Raiders did something, knocked it forward or something. Titans get the ball, 6 to go. Then it immediately turns over and they go down. It was ridiculous. That shouldn't have been a fucking try either.
That's it. And then
the Raiders are one of the fakest teams in the competition at the moment. When you look at they have to win out for the rest of the season because their for and against is so fucked that they can't be on level with anybody when it comes to the table.
The issue is though, the fucking dipshit Ricky Stewart gets on the post match.
Oh God!
And fucking whinges about the referees.
Immediately starts bitching. Immediately. That guy is exactly what people say he is.
Yeah. Can somebody please fucking just send a message to him or slip a bit of paper and let him know that television exists and most people these days, have buttons that can stop, pause, rewind and look at shit a couple of times.
And it's not like he's doing it he's doing it at the press conference as well, but it's not like that's what you're talking about. He was doing that was they put a microphone in front of him on the side of the field a minute and a half after the game had finished and he starts in on it.
I'm really proud of the boys. Great effort tonight. Pick out a couple of players that had good individual efforts. Shut the fuck up, cunt.
Be happy you won, you miserable cunt. But he just goes straight to the fucking negative to find something to bitch about.
Can you imagine the fucking victim mentality in the Stewart house?
Oh, he would be absolutely punished.
Oh my God.
Imagine. The fucking toast popped up too early out of the thing, or it didn't pop up. It didn't pop up, and now it's fucking now it's like a shade darker than he likes it. Oh my God!
He's worried the toast's girlfriend will say something bad about him.
Oh, we run out of milk, and he's practically fucking killing himself.
Yeah. I'll blame those fucking dairy farmers. They've been
I've got to drive to fucking Penrith and get the milk.
They've been thinning the milk. So we've used more of it. I know how much milk goes on Sultana brand. I think you know how much milk goes on Sultana brand. So tell me, why is my fucking milk empty a day early? Who's going to answer that question? Because I got 3 fucking, genetically questionable fucking kids in there waiting for their fucking breakfast. By the way, I've got a foundation for them. Would you like to fucking donate? Fuck you, cunt.
Yeah.
It's good to see Albert Hopolate going well, though. Yeah. Because Albert was meant to, he was a young star, junior origin, blah blah blah, and he just never really got there. And obviously, his old man isn't the greatest person to deal with, and it's probably great for them down in Canberra because he's not going to relocate the entire fucking family down there, so he gets a bit of breathing space, and Ricky doesn't have to hear it, and or if he does, it's on the phone, he can just hang it up. Or he can just overpower him by bitching about whatever he's going on in his life, like he usually does. And but it's good to see he's actually starting to build a little bit of a career there. Anything to say, Glennie?
Oh, I just think for the Titans, Fafita is really starting to get more and more involved game to game, and the Titans are one of those teams right there or thereabouts to make the 8, and you hope that the post-Origin hangover doesn't set in with him and he can continue, building on these types of performances where he's, whether it's him or going searching for it or some of the other senior players dragging him along and getting the ball. And bringing, Kieran Foran digging into the line and committing defenders. Yeah. And giving it to him in a position where he doesn't have to use his athleticism and power to make something happen. He's halfway there. Yeah.
I think it's the final form for that side in using him to his potential is getting to that stage that Penrith had Kikau at last year, where it wasn't even Kikau with the ball, it was the threat that he might get the ball. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the Titans have fully figured out how to use Fafita like that to open up the centre and the wing.
They're in a phase where they really need him to get the ball more often than not. I think you're right. I think that's where they should develop to. But right now,
that's what I'm saying. That's their final form.
The more touches he gets, is far more beneficial to them.
But at the end of the day, fucking Titans, don't put yourself in a position where a fucked ref score can cost you the game. Win by more. Stephen, nobody even cares about the refs' decisions when they win. Oh yeah, except Sticky. Scott, as a Titans fan, I know we fucked up a lot, but having the refs actually compound their errors to make our good plays fuck us too is a bit too much. Honestly, We should have put the Raiders away there, but Leo is old and can't back up consecutive weeks. Stimson has been terrible all year. We keep running this stupid lightweight bench, which always gives up easy meters to the opponent. Fade us and let's work on the best Hunt deal. Maybe a good build for the Professor next year. Isaac. I love Ricky so much. They won and he's still fuming. Lara Pitt was laughing at him while interviewing him. Yeah, she fucking was.
She was.
Jack. Ricky should consider giving the refs a shout-out instead of grilling because they gave the Raiders that one. Absolutely ridiculous that call on Fafita for the second try. Errors certainly didn't help. Anyone else think the Raiders are a struggling team, yet they're in the 8? Well, it seems that Nate agrees.
Yeah, they're one of the most likely ones to drop out, I think. And just because they can tie with another team below them and still, their for and against is like would put them, like 14th or something if it was just based on that. So, and given the compressed nature of the table this season, with probably everyone from 1st to 14th still in the running for
100%. It's going to be a fucking great end of the season.
It's tough. Okay, here we go. Let's rip this band-aid off, shall we? These, the North Queensland Cowboys 74 defeat the West Tigers.
Said it twice.
It's just like it just hit me again. Like that's a fucking lot.
Oh.
Like, look, I'll tell you. There was a game in the Magical Tommy season where there was Manly versus the Titans, and Titans were leading like 24-8 or something at halftime, and we were down there and like in the Manly section, we all had the shits because we were like, this is fucked. And in the second half, Manly ended up winning the game like 58-24 or something. Like it was ridiculous. And I remember when I came home and I went to watch the replay again, and you get to the second half. And you're watching it and you're like, there's like 15 minutes to go and you're like, fuck me, there's a lot of tries. They've still got 3 tries to score in this fucking game. And then you look at this one with 74 and you're just going, geez, that's a lot of fucking tries. So here I go.
They didn't score a point. The Tigers didn't score a point at all, but the Cowboys didn't score a point for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So they scored 74 points in 65 minutes.
This was a battle for like the first 20 minutes probably, right? So anyway, so Dearden with a try. Lucky Leilua with a try, Nanai with a try, Jordan McLean with a try. Then we get to Valentine Holmes. He's got doubles of those. Semi Valame, he's got doubles of those. Scott Drinkwater, he's got doubles of those. And Murray Taulagi, he's got triples. So Val 11 goals from 13 attempts. West Tigers, big duck egg.
Yeah, look.
Go Glenny, floor is yours, sir.
I deserved everything that came my way, and it come my way. It did. I heard about it, and that's rightfully so. When you put yourself out there and you talk a lot of shit about always beating the Cowboys and owning them and their kids, and I'm just glad that the Tigers were able to give some meaning to the otherwise miserable existences of Cowboys as an organisation and all their fans. It's quite heartwarming to see them with smiles on their toothless faces. In all seriousness, though, what a pack of cunts! Really. Like,
can I interject and ask you a question, Glenny?
Yeah.
Based on what you just said, then, do you think that this happened? This is actually because of you? Do you believe in something that this has actually happened because of something you did or you deserved?
Because I tell you, we've started rewatching My Name Is Earl, and I would watch the shit out of My Name Is Glen.
Look, I don't know that it's as a result of me, but it certainly, when you push it out there and people have an opportunity to send it back, it generally comes back in bigger waves than what you send it out there. Because I'm only one person pushing the wave, and I push it at a lot of people. But when all those people push back a wave at the same time, it's confronting, and it can wake you up from a fairly fucking sturdy hangover. But look, it was clear the Cowboys were up for revenge after we dusted them, a month or however long ago it was, and they were keen to put on a.
What was the score in that game?
66 to something.
Okay. 66 to 18.
Yeah. They were keen for a
that
good
was
performance.
the thing at a time. There was a time like Twitter was the general tone of Twitter was as the game was happening was like following the aggregate for the accumulated 2 games.
This is what I'm thinking right now. You've had a season where you have beaten a side 65-18, and yet you're on the bottom of the ladder because of points differential.
And also in the return rubber against that same team, they actually defeat that margin
and lose
significantly.
On
Yeah. They're playing at home. They wanted a good performance. They're on an upward tick, on the whole, the Cowboys. And obviously the fact that the Tigers were clearly anything but up for any sort of contest once the initial exchanges settled down and the Cowboys, started to put some points on, the Tigers turned their toes up, and there wasn't really anyone that stood up that could have held their head high for the Tigers. Just fucking abysmal.
And going back to my problem with Alex TWiL ever getting a try, he gets binned. And this game, to me, is almost a byproduct of messing with the laws of nature, letting that cunt score a try.
It's essentially the Tigers releasing a Run TMB shirt of their own. in letting Alex TWiL score that try.
I don't know what this means for the Cowboys, really. They did extremely well to get on top in this game, but once they were on top, they started playing that brand of football where they would just if they got their head and shoulders through a tackle, they'd just chuck it. And then another guy was there to catch it, and then he'd just chuck it. And it was that kind of carefree, not give a fuck football that they didn't care is when you know that if you lose possession, it doesn't fucking matter because you're leading by 50 at this stage already. And they started playing that kind of football, and that sort of thing started working.
I think the answer to your question...
Because the Tigers were so badly beaten.
The answer to your question is that it means plenty to the Cowboys, but only in relation to their relationship with the Tigers. All throughout the game, they were saying that, they had the score from the last game plastered all over the club for the week leading up.
Oh, yeah, and then you see like half of the guys when they scored tries, they were doing like the Generation X suck it, crotch chop thing, because that's what Star-Lord did in the last game. So obviously they had been watching video and they'd been obsessing about this return leg, which is ridiculous. Which shows why Sheenis has probably fucking lost it, because how do you not understand that that's what you're walking into?
Yeah, that's it.
And get your players up to counter that.
And
that's
exactly. And I think that it means something for the Tigers in terms of they got that monkey off their back.
Cowboys.
However, Cowboys. But I don't.
Yeah, the West Tigers got fucked by that.
I don't think it means anything.
It was several monkeys
in the larger scope of the competition.
Yeah,
the Cowboys are a more dangerous side.
Look, at the end of the day, regardless of the score, they beat the team running last. But there was.
But did you see Drinkwater when he came off? When they interviewed him after the game?
No.
He literally said, "Oh, it felt like that. It was great. It just felt like one of those conditioning runs, like we were training or something." Like we often joke about games being a training run when a team flogs another team, but he came out. He literally said it on the sideline in the post-match interview. So that's depressing times. And everyone questions me. Every year someone comes at me and is like, "Oh, why are you still saying #Tigers in decline?"
Because
Because they ran 16th last year and they're running 17th this year.
There's always a new way that they can decline in some way or another.
Yeah,
But Sheenis has pledged he's going to stick around.
Oh, how good.
You'll be right.
I'm so glad.
What's all the art this week now? Or is that what you're talking about here, Nate, where they're like...
There was talk that Sheen would be dropping off this year and Benji would be commencing his solo stint next year. But then, the follow-ups to that is Sheen saying, no, he's staying. So
have you heard anything from your sources and list makers and stuff that about the Fulton appointment and how that's got up, that happening without Sheen's or Benji's knowledge, and getting them offside.
Oh, well, apparently that was like he was appointed by like the club, and so you know who we're talking about there. We're talking about Pascoe and Lee, and without like prior consultation with Sheens and Benji, like that apparently is the case, and I don't think that there's like it's a bad relationship as the media would be saying, but like it definitely was done without them being heavily consulted. I mean, I'm sure that they'll probably, if they can land some players, they'll probably be happy ultimately. But at the moment, it looks like maybe they'll get Zach Fulton, who played a first grade game when every other player was standing down because they didn't want to wear a rainbow jersey. But look, I like the kid and everything, but he hasn't come close to first grade since. They're trying to land the Fainu brothers, but my information is that they're going to fumble that bag, which is like literally unfumbleable. I saw on Instagram the other night they met Benji, and it's funny. Like, remember back in like was it like Desert Storm when they'd have like the captured Americans and they'd be on the Iraqi broadcast saying stuff that they're clearly like the hostage stuff, and they're kind of reading, they're saying glory to Saddam or whatever, but that's what they looked like. This picture wherever they were meeting Benji that night, their manager put pictures of the two brothers on Instagram, and they looked fucking thrilled to be there, like they were walking to go and visit their brother in prison or something, but yeah, so look, we'll see. Ultimately, I'm sure you'll get some players out of it, but I don't know if you're getting any of these guys that are ready to take first grade positions and arrest that on Saturday night in the near future anyway. Socials, I bet they went easy on him.
They certainly did. Vince.
You fucking serious?
He said, I think the Cowboys forgot the safe word. Noffa was screaming diesel, but the Cowboys kept fucking them. Oh, Vince, that's comment of the week. That's fucking great. Oh. Until I get to this one.
Noffa's probably got a big D's tattoo on his forearm.
He'd have to, wouldn't he?
That was a fucking comment of the week. I forgot about this one. Sam. Glen is a fucking fake Tigers fan. We always beat them, asterisk, in Sydney. Fucking casual.
Which Sam was that?
I don't know.
You know.
Go and look on the Facebook group then. Joey. Finished work late, got home, put this game on. Fuck me, I didn't know rugby league could turn me on so much and make me laugh at the same time. How good. Hammers. Tigers look gassed. Could have used some big diesel. Matthew. Oh, this one's fucking wholesome. Last night I took my daughter to her first game of rugby league. We watched the mighty Wigan Warriors win. This morning I wake up, put the TV on, the Tigers, and more importantly, John Bateman are getting a dry one. Lovely stuff. Bateman is fucking cooked, hey? Like, just watching him in that game.
Yeah,
maybe
like,
in that game, but in other games he's been... You can't fault his effort in other games.
What I will say in his defence is, and like I don't really want to defend the guy, but what I will say in his defence to that particular comment is, I think out of all of them, given that Appy and Brooksy are out with injury at the moment, I think he's probably the one in there that's actually trying the hardest. Like, he is trying. I don't think he's like fucking thieving a living. I mean, he might not be coming off for him, but I don't think he's. There are players in there that are just fucking deserting their posts.
That is true.
For a fact.
Panthers with no Cleary still win. Tigers with no Brooks, 122 point swing. It's clear who the number 1-7 is in our game.
The kid's just that good. He's just that fucking good.
Andrew,
what have you done, Glennie?
What have I done?
Letting Brooksy go, mate. You deserve that.
Oh, fucking hell. That's it. That's the second spray I've copped about fucking not jumping to Brooksy's defence.
Oh, really?
Andrew.
Oh, fuck.
Said Benji could be the first coach to be sacked before they even coach. Jordan. 6 weeks ago, I was burning every bit of cow's gear I had. Has there ever been a turnaround? Has there in a season? Has there been a bigger turnaround? In the return
leg like that?
Like team against team.
Yeah, right. Because you really have to... the first league has to be like that level, like 60
over
points,
50.
sort of, has to be bad.
Must be over 50.
Yeah, I tell you what, there was one, and I can't remember the year, but the teams involved will definitely remember. It was consecutive games between the Storm and the Dragons. Back in the day, and one time the Dragons won by a fucking ton, and the next time the scoreline was reversed. Yeah, okay. I can't remember if it was like end of the season to the start of the next season or something, but I'm pretty sure it was consecutive
with
games.
The scoreline being reversed, that's like a...
Because they're pretty big. They're like 50s or 50-plus scores.
Okay. But even in this one, there's those added fact of... Like, the score that the Cowboys put on, but the fact that it was to 0 as well. It's fucking massive. Anyway.
And the fact that, like, at the end of the game too, when the Tigers did look to try and score a try, and they're just piling it on, like they were defending it like they hadn't,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Glenny's absolutely checked out. Like he's just like just 1,000-yard staring at this point.
Yeah, that's it. Next game.
What more do you want me to say? I don't understand.
Broncos 24 defeated Dolphins 16. You can say something about this game, Glenny. Broncos 24 tries double to Herbie Farnworth, hat trick to Selwyn Cobbo, 2 conversions to Adam Reynolds. Dolphins 16 tries to Nicarima, Val Meninga, Jerry Marshall King, 2 conversions to Jermaine Osako.
Another solid contest. I was pretty impressed with this game, and the Dolphins probably steadying the ship a little bit after some of their more recent performances. I think the Broncos probably just finished with a touch more class, and even without Walsh and primarily through Cobbo, with a hat trick and a couple of fucking just freak touches. Essentially, that's the difference in the result. I think the Dolphins.
That was a winning of that game too. Like
Dolphins looked far better. So hopefully that means they're back on track again, and they've had the wobbles, but can't fault their performance in this game.
Yep. Yeah, the Dolphins are they're not. They're still going to overachieve. At the end of the year, they're still going to have had a better inaugural season than I think anybody would have predicted. They had a dip there, but they seem to have come back from that. For the Broncos, I'm not sure what their long-term plan is. Like, they lose a fair bit of fucking cattle at the end of this year. And then, interestingly enough, most of them are going to the fucking Dolphins. Like the star of this one, Herbie, he's fucking out of there, and he puts on the.
Fuck, he was good in this game too. Yeah.
He's low key had a fucking career year as well.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's all happened after he signed.
Yeah.
To go to the Dolphins as well. So like, I mean, he was always like, sort of decent, but Katoni Staggs was the guy.
Exactly.
But he's the guy, and he's the best center of the Broncos at the moment by far.
So I'm not. I would suggest that the Broncos have a shorter window than many people think. Whereas it looks like they're this young team and they've got all of this bright future ahead of them and a great pack of forwards, and Reece Walsh is young and got a lot of football ahead of him. But the linchpins of that side at the moment, and then their general in Reynolds, I'm not sure they've got the window that people think they do. Anything else you want to say about that?
Did anyone else see that Reynolds is starting to angle for an extension?
Yeah.
I did not. How many years does he want?
An extra couple of years, I think.
He's earned them. He has earned them. I mean, he's coaching the side as well, so I mean, he's pulling double duty.
The reaction to his initial signing was 3 years.
Yeah, well, and what it's exactly. And what it's proven though is that even though he does miss some games with injury, there's he still has that. He brings that experienced effect that's bringing up a lot of I'm sure that Ezra Mam's career is far in advance of where it would be.
Yeah.
If he wasn't playing with
100%.
Oh, I agree.
Guys he's making Billy Walters fucking serviceable.
Yeah.
There's a benefits to him there.
This is that discussion. There's a price for almost every player. and there's a role for almost every player. It's unfortunate that it's not a common thing to run with 2 sevens. You know, it'd be very interesting if you could give Reynolds the middle third of a game off, see what that does to his body over the course of a season, and let the younger guys have a run at the same time. Unfortunately, that's just not feasible with how the interchange works and fatigue.
Yep.
Look, he's not playing terribly.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay.
In 2 years' time.
Hang on, let me give the Broncos fans their due, because our old mate Rory had a whinge. He said, let's be honest, when you're 11th to comment, you're not going to make stepdad's reads. Fuck you, stepdad. I could only watch the replay. So there you go. I've heard you. For people that...
Hey, and stepdad doesn't look at these things until probably, Monday, Tuesday. So, or dare I say Wednesday before recording on Wednesday.
Literally 10 minutes before the show.
So you got a lot of... I mean,
so
if you're good,
so if you're not being
in.
read, it's because you're a Broncos fan or you comment shit. So, Kevin, honestly, pretty fucking shit performance from the Broncos. We only won through the individual brilliance of Cobbo. Our attack seems to be run all through the brilliance of Walsh, unhinged as it is. You can temper it a little bit. It's not the worst thing in the world. Jay, see, Glenn, this is what it looks like when a team always beats the opposition. Broncos always beat the Dolphins. It's a fact. Doesn't matter where. This side of Brisbane or that side of Brisbane. It doesn't matter because we always win. Liam.
It's not really. I mean, it's, it's hard to say that, that Wollongabba is on another side of Brisbane to fucking Milton, really. I mean, like, can you throw a rock from one to the other one, really? Let's be honest.
Liam.
But,
great game from both teams, despite some absolute shit refereeing. Good vibes from all the players after the game. Brisbane truly is the home of rugby league. David, not as bad a loss as what I was expecting, and not as shit as last month. Still likely not to win until we play Wests in round 25. There we are. Next game.
All right. Just before we go to the next game, I will. I did some looking up before, and what I was talking about with Storm and the turnarounds with the Storm and the Dragons. Yes. The Dragons on the 3rd of March. Melbourne on the 3rd of March at the MCG beat the Dragons 70-10, and then 3 months later, on the 4th of June at Wynn, the Dragons won 50-4. So
look, it's a turnaround, but
it's too big fucking. I mean, it's still like 120, point turnaround, or 100.
Yeah, I know, but you lost
116 point turnaround.
You lost the first game by more than you won the second game by.
Yeah, that's right. But and I think both of those games actually represent the biggest win against each other that those guys, they have.
There you go, Glenn. You guys are number one in something.
Yeah, good. Never in doubt.
Speaking of another game where the biggest win over a team is registered, the Newcastle Knights 66 defeated the Bulldogs 0 at their home, Accor Stadium. The Knights tries to TWiL, Marzu, Glenny's mate Kurt Mann, Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Then we had a double to Phoenix Crosland, a double to Jackson Hastings, and a hat trick to Bradman Best. Ponga 11 from 11 with the boot. And this game is one day apart, but the exact same round and weekend of the 2021 game where Manly beat the Bulldogs 66-0. So it's become somewhat of a tradition out Belmore Way. And this game was fun. The Bulldogs, they actually chucked it in way before the Tigers did in their game, as evidenced by Phoenix Crossland gashing them through the middle, like fucking 15 minutes, if that, into the game.
Absolutely diabolical. And as shit as the Tigers are, the money that's been spent at the Bulldogs, this is far more diabolical.
And playing a team that hasn't seen finals since fucking whenever.
Yeah.
That's it.
And isn't going to see final, But, and look, Sir Aldo, I have to question his coaching, because it wasn't just a matter of the Bulldogs not being up for the game, but to bring that kid Rajab in and stick him and sit him there next to Alamotti and just watch them get absolutely scaffed for fucking 35 minutes, and then he eventually hooked him a couple of minutes before half time. But that's career-ending shit right there.
Mm.
You know, if you're not gonna somehow try and, you know, not ease a kid in, but, you know, put a strong defender there. It's just, you know, after the first time, after the second time, because it just became a matter of where it was just like, let's just give it to fucking Lachlan Fitzgibbon.
Yeah.
And let him just run through and give it the best. I mean, absolutely just time and time again through that same fucking portion of the field.
I'll tell you, it has fucking given us two things. That Brad Fittler has absolutely no fucking idea what he's doing.
That guy just fucking watches.
Yeah, exactly.
And goes, oh, he went good.
He's got a lot of tries. It's like a fucking Make-A-Wish kid. Who scored the tries? That's my favourite player. Fucking idiot.
Look, I was talking about the selection of Bradman Best in the centres for New South Wales.
Yeah, but then also fucking Drinkwater.
Yeah, but Drinkwater. I mean, like, Drinkwater's been thereabouts though.
And I'm on my fucking crusade. Has Drinkwater had a better last 2 seasons than Dylan Edwards?
Well, I mean, yeah, but Dylan Edwards is part of a system, and we've seen in games 1 and 2 that the system doesn't work if you don't have all the pieces in it.
Yeah, Dylan Edwards, because James Tedesco's the one that fucked it.
You can't take the best pieces out of the system and then expect them to win Origin series because
exactly. So put more of the system in there
for several series now. So look,
fuck it. Just put Southern Cross tattoos on the fucking Kiwis and play the entire Penrith squad. Be 50-0.
I would be happy for Dylan Edwards to at least be, you know, get into the squad or whatever, because I mean, honestly, you know, when you've got all the best fullbacks who are fucking rubbed out already, I mean, if you're selecting Gutho, I mean, you can fucking pretty much select anybody. Let's be real. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. But good day for the Knights. Good day for neutrals who hate the Bulldogs. Good day for rugby league. I just feel like there was just that section of the field there with fucking Rajab and Alamotti and who the fuck else was out there. It only took them 15 minutes max to figure out that they were running traffic through there all fucking day long. Yep. And when guys like Phoenix Crossland are figuring that out,
yeah,
and there's no response. Like there was no response either. It was like, what the money they've spent. I mean, sure, all those guys aren't on the field, sure, but Jesus Christ.
Yep, I hear.
Yeah.
Fuck the Bulldogs. Like, it's so enjoyable.
But this is the thing.
Because Bulldogs fans have made a very habit because they had, because they went through the thing, like, you know, they had Des, we had Des, and they had Des, and then we got Des, and then we had Trent, they had Trent. They try and, at the start of every season, the Bulldogs fans, they try and make things very personal with me. And this is what you fucking
think
get.
That at least try.
This is what you
get.
Treat
you like an Eskimo brother.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Not everyone's proud of their Eskimo relations.
And to be fair, I mean, like, we are kind of like that now. The Titans got Des. Like, I'll give them that. But man,
and Glenn spoke about it before when he was talking about Penrith, that it took the world's longest 5-year plan to put a system in place with these kids coming through to sustain what you need in a top quality first grade side. It was 8 years or something from when Gus took over.
Yeah, something like that.
Everyone expects that. Oh, okay, we're just going to buy some fucking players. We're going to buy some players who are low key, not great fucking players. You know, they're running a fucking centre in the halves and all this other weird shit, and injury prone fucking forwards that have had big paydays don't have the same incentive.
They're the team where they get good players, but they pay them more to put the players where the player wants to go because it's a more highly valued position as far as remuneration. So then they're going to have like Crichton as fullback next
Yep.
year, and Burton in halves. Haven't they watched those games with Crichton as fullback?
Yeah, so
Not all of them are good games. In fact, I dare say the balance of them are bad.
fucking rich man's DWZ. So let's fucking go.
Oh fuck! I never thought I would see the day.
Rich man's, not a poor man's.
He's been.
He's better than.
He's it's more expensive than.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not better than, but just more expensive.
Isaac, don't worry. I know I've been missing from the Knights comments sections for the last couple of weeks. Here I am. Main takeaway is Ponga's goal kicking. That's what we've needed all season. Could have 5 more wins with a decent kicker. Unfortunately, he is a soft shell crab, so you don't. Brad, serious question. Next time the Dogs play the Tigers, will it be 70 all or 0 all?
Could you imagine the entertainment, though, if it was like 71-70 Golden Point extra time game? Like, to score that many tries in a game, it would be just the most fantastic fucking all-out blitz of, like, just set for set, just fucking every set they score.
You know what?
So it just comes down to possession.
The most Tigers thing ever is, like, they score 70 in the first half and then lose 71-70.
That'd be a fucking fun game. That'd be a fun as fuck game to watch, so I'm not even going to lie.
Graham, still don't deserve credit. Shane, Dogs were outstandingly shit. Fitzgibbon is a gun. Ash, it was fun to see the Dogs give Tigers fans some hope that they wouldn't be the punchline of the round for a little while. Terry, absolute cunt circus, move on. There we go.
And was it Isaac talking about the goal kicking of Ponga? It's funny you mentioned that. Like, obviously, 11 out of 11, he was accurate. But when he kicks it, it's like the old school. And like when he kicks it and it goes with such a thud, and the ball just fucking floats like through in whatever.
Like a knuckleball.
Yeah, and he's like, sometimes he's like, how the fuck did that? A, had to go straight. B, had to go over. But got the job done. The final game of the round, the mighty Manly Seabs Eagles 18 defeat the Roosters 16 at Brookie. The Manly side, a double DCE. Ben Travojevic with the other try. Garrick 3 conversions. The Roosters tries 2. Pauga, Tedesco and Manu. And Sandon Smith 2 conversions from 3 attempts. This is actually a good game. It's a fucking stressful game. Can't believe we fucking won, to be honest. And this was an absolute God mode performance again from fucking Daly, who's just fucking on one the last couple of weeks. The Roosters forwards were so fucking dominant in this game. It had gotten up to the point where probably by halftime or shortly after, they probably had 500 more running meters. But Manly was still in the game, in fact, in front at halftime, and had 400 more kicking meters than the Roosters. It was just Daly's boot at the end of sets is the only fucking thing that kept Manly in the game. And obviously, I mean, his vision and the lack of vision shown by Luke Keary to get that intercept before halftime to take the lead was fucking amazing. I mean, basically him and Jake Travojevic had the whole fucking team on their back the whole game. There were so many like extremely mid to passive performances from players in the forward pack that just gave us no fucking chance to win the game. Yet just the sheer force of will from Cherry Evans to keep us in it, we were, until the point where we actually could, get it done. The second half started getting a bit more, probably 60 minutes or, Seabs realised that the fucking forwards that were on after halftime were just getting fucking rolled so easily. He made the changes for the second stints for some of the starting guys earlier, probably 10, 15 minutes earlier than he would have ordinarily. And they slowly sort of turned it around and got some possession, had a ton of possession. And then finally Schuster, who I don't know what they were doing with him in this game, because there was times he was over on the right-hand side and he was sort of, he was all over the place. And I don't know if that was because they're starting to try and segue him into like having a more roving commission, with the idea that he'll be in the back row next year or what. But then it just came back. It just came down to junior combinations. The try you see 1,000 times when they were playing in the 20s, when Schuster to Benny Turbo in to score the try to win the game. And I have to say, I fucking like Burbo has had fucking like obviously he's never going to be Tommy in terms of like like extraordinary out of this world skill. But he's not going to be Jake either in terms of like just like a defensive powerhouse. He's his own guy, and he's slowly starting to like become his own player. And I think that's his position, to be like a versatile guy on the bench that can come on the edge, but he's there if you need like to replace a center or something like that for their injury. You can handle that as well. Like he's sound defensively, but he runs good lines. And he brings good energy, and I mean that's all Schuster really needs. I mean, if you're going to run a good line for him, he'll just throw the pass there without looking like he does, and it's up to you the rest of it. And the way that they got that through after Schuster being contained very well by the Roosters. I mean, they obviously game planned that they were just going to rush up on him and not give him any time, and that worked for fucking 60, 70 minutes to however long of the game, and yeah, great defense at the end of the game. Fucking Roosters had the last 2 minutes on the line to try and score to win it, and they lifted, and the Roosters just weren't good enough, despite playing very well. I mean, even like Teddy had a good game.
This is one of the better performances for the Roosters in I don't know how long.
Yeah, I feel like Keary, if anyone, Keary might have been the one that was probably the weak link for the Roosters in this game, because they certainly had the field position and the possession to kind of get it done. Their forwards did a great fucking job in this game. The young guys as well, like Wong was on debut, he was great, and White as well, he was great. And I mean, like, it's a shame that the Roosters have realised what his value is over the last 2 weeks and playing him in first grade, because I would fucking love to have bought him out of reserve grade, because I think he's great. It was weird, like weirdly, one of the key players for the Roosters before he got HIA'd out of the game was Turpin, of all people. Yeah. The fucking energy that he brought in the first sort of 30 minutes of the game in defence, especially, like leading them, and like he was key.
He's always done that. I think he lets himself down with some of his attacking skill set. Limits his game. He's always plays with an energy and a certain playing above his weight defensively, but his skill set in attack is.
Yeah, his ceiling isn't definitely as high. Yeah,
playing him at hooker, I think his skill set in attack, but his stature, I don't know where else you play him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and the other weird thing about this game is, like, guys that were kind of like dreading coming back into the side straight, like Parker and Tuolangi. Tuolangi actually showed the fucking danger that he has with the ball. Like, I mean, he was far better than Hamoli was. Like in attack, they had trouble putting him down every time he had the ball. I mean, the amount of post contact meters he made was ridiculous, and he didn't have any glaring defensive errors that typified his stint before he got injured a couple of weeks ago. Parker was fucking great. Tuipulotu was aids and responsible directly for 2 of the Roosters' tries, and almost and at the end they actually kicked for his wing as well. In the dying seconds to try and get the win, and it wasn't because of him that they didn't get that kick in. It was because the kick was fucked, like it was too deep. And you had like Manu and fucking whoever on that side of the field just screaming for it. Brad Parker had a great moment where he fucking just absolutely destroyed Manu with fucking footwork and speed and fucking whatever else he had. Every inch of fucking power that Ranger had, and he made Manu look ridiculous in setting up that try for starting off the first try that Daly scored. And yeah, I think then Trent Robinson in the fucking press conference. It was a long press conference, and for the first probably 8 minutes of it, that fucking pasty fucking idiot was just refs faulting non-stop. Go, the penalties were this in the second half, and the 6 against were this in the second half. Mate, in the first half, Jarrah Hargraves got on fucking Toff Sipley and had 2 shots at fucking eye gouging him. Like, I understand if you're tackling a guy and you kind of wrap your arm around their head when they're sort of fighting out of the tackle, stuff can happen. I get that. But when you go back again to find the guy's fucking eye socket, I mean, that's straight up out eye gouging. I can't believe the cunt wasn't penalised or sent for it. And so some of the other grubby shit that they had too, like, stomping on fucking Burbo at the end of the game as well, which was pleasing to see guys like Hamoli just instantly turn into fucking kill mode and try and,
Did
get
I
in the face.
hear that right? That when they replayed that, they said he grabbed the leg, so it's not a... Is that...
Yeah, so stomping on the face is okay because he had it, and it wasn't even like he grabbed him. It was like he was going to get up and his hand
this is what I'm saying.
Ended up on the guy's foot. Yeah.
And don't, I fucking love watching Manly cunts have fucking studs raked over their face. Don't get me wrong, but all he seemed to do was sort of put his hand up to stop something scraping his face. He's made contact with the fucking shin, and they've stopped. And then all of a sudden it's, oh well, he grabbed the leg, so there's no further action or whatever the fuck he said. It's just
wow.
Yeah, it was.
But
nuts.
this is that thing though. Someone needs to tell the bunker that other people can see the replays.
Yeah,
it's
not just a group of mates watching the game together, chatting amongst themselves.
That one was fucking shocking.
Yeah, I loved how quickly, like Homoli, like from the other side of the field, it was like he teleported there instantly into the dude's face to can't remember who it was.
To do nothing. So, but let's not pretend anyone does anything in rugby league fields anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, this is right. I mean, like the referee, he was in the most danger because he was trying to get in the middle of it. But the thing is, and one of the things that Robin said was, it was hard to beat a perfect team. Guess what, mate? They were a fucking perfect team in the second half, and I'll tell you why. The reason that the fucking Roosters were rolling them so fucking easily through the forwards is because Manly tried to slow them down twice, and both times it was a penalty. Both times they got marched down the field. So they just didn't fucking do it again. They actually they understood the time that they had. They understood that they were never going to be able to lie on the ruck like fucking Maria Hargraves was all game and get away with it. They just understood that was the lay of the land and they weren't getting away with it. So rather than give away the penalty, they got up and let them have the faster play, the ball speed. And as a result, they weren't fucking penalised for it. And thereby giving your fucking team the opportunity to roll down the field in every set of 6, and you couldn't do anything with it. Fucking Trent with a budget. So, go fuck yourself. I look forward to you getting fucking Uncle Nick putting a baggie on you at the Christmas party. You cunt.
Oh,
Richard. Wow. losing Billy Smith and Joseph Swaliti 2 days before kickoff because of a training accident really fucking sums up our season. Even a Teddy 300-metre game couldn't save us. Teddy 300-metre games aren't going to save anyone. Because you know what else comes with a Teddy 300 metres? You know why he's got 300 metres? Because he didn't fucking pass once. The Roosters have lost 3 of their 6 games by 2 points. In most other seasons, they win these, sit 5th on paper over the cracks of their deficiencies. But this season, their weaknesses are being exposed and they need to address them. Shane, go the boys. Always good to beat the Roosters. Terry, Jakey was great. Manly a shot without him. And that was all of the decent comments on that game.
I'll tell you, something else that Trent said in the press conference, and I'll ask you guys about, particularly I'll ask you, Glennie, because it's about finals. So just he would say, they were asking him questions. They were asking him like, about, it's getting tight, the run to the finals and everything, what do you think about making the finals? And he was like, and he always talks about playing the Roosters style, which is this fucking ridiculous thing. But he was saying, we've got to get back to playing the Roosters style of football because if we get to the finals, we'll just lose. And so I'd rather not get to the finals if we're not going to be able to win in the finals. I'd rather not be there.
Fuck off, mate.
That was the question. Would you rather get to the finals and lose first week, make the 8, finish in the top 8, and then lose first week, or not get to the finals? Because that's what the choice is.
Clearly, Nathan. Fucking, if you can't win at all, don't make it.
Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous. You want to see your team. You love your team. You want to see your team fucking play more games. The way to play more games, at least one more games to get to the finals.
You know what I'd rather have? I'd rather have a team, even if it was for 5 years straight, finish fucking 8th and got blasted out in week 1, than the team that finished 9th or last or what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
Of course you want to make the fucking finals. Why are you playing? And if you make finals, then you give yourself an opportunity to play fucking Rooster style, Secret Ranger style, whatever the fuck style you want to play, and give yourself an opportunity to win if you're good 100%. Enough. Give me a fucking break. Okay.
I want to tell you something, though. The conclusion of the round, though, Glennie, you might be feeling bad because of the loss that you sustained and everything like that in your position on the ladder, but I just need you to believe because you've got some buys coming up.
No, we don't.
You've got at least you should have one more buy, right?
No,
Or
we've had 3.
Oh no. Well, okay. Well, I forget
We
what I
are
said.
fucked.
Okay. Yeah. Well, look. You're not the worst team in terms of for and against, and you're actually in the ballpark of being. You're only one bad loss for the Dragons away from being the third worst side of for and against. Can you believe it or not? And so you need is one more win this season, and it could propel you to third last. Just by nature of the differential.
What a time to be alive.
The Bulldogs are 65 points worse off than you are. And they're 1 win ahead.
Yeah.
So, get onto the boys, mate.
If ever I was going to get onto the boys, it would have happened at approximately 7:30 p.m. on Saturday.
Oh, you didn't know. They always win up there against them.
That's true. You
weren't to know.
It was a shock to everyone, Nathan.
Yeah,
no one expected that. No one expected the Cowboys to win, let alone by that margin.
It was an ambush. It was a classic ambush.
No one could have assumed that the Cowboys had any sort of motivation for that game.
No one saw this coming.
Least of all,
hey,
the
what
coach.
happened? What happened in the news this week? I didn't
Nothing
really
of
see.
note. It's all fucking Origin and around.
Something must happen. Oh, we've got this situation at the moment though with the
RLPA.
butting heads. Can you believe? I thought that was all fucking done and dusted months ago, but no, it wasn't. And so
wasn't the thing that they came to the
moment,
table and they negotiated together and came to a fucking D-Day final midnight.
Yeah, because remember it was going to be an issue at the start of the season, and maybe it was going to delay the start of the season, or something like that, or or in trials or something. But yeah, so they were saying that the RLPA is saying now that the NRL has basically got them on whatever the the benefits and deals that was reduced through due to COVID and the hit that the game took during that period, and honestly, it's only just sort of hit before we hit record, so I'm not across everything that's going on at the moment, but they're saying at the moment that the players now there's going to be sort of a semi-strike in terms of media commitments, and so in Origin when there's a game on Wednesday, the players will only be available on Mondays and Tuesdays. On regular days, it'll be like they've got because players have media commitments as well. They'll be able to fulfil those on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, outside of Origin times. There won't be like pre-game, sideline, those sorts of things, which are kind of like the worst, interactions anyway. Really, isn't it? But yeah, it looks like there's strong words coming from the NRL itself, and from both sides. And I guess we're going to find out what actually happens, and there'll be probably more information on that by the time we get to the next show about what's going to happen. But
players refusing to do media work at training. Fucking
yeah. It'll that's the stuff that I did see something where they said that what they'll be allowed to do is they'll be allowed to do media for like club purposes, probably doing for their stuff on the socials and things like that, and they'll be doing like those Monday Tuesday things where there's usually like 3 players per club that come up and do like individual interviews that go up on the websites on Monday Tuesday. They'll be able to do those. But they won't be able to be contacted by journalists like privately through socials or on their phones other times. They won't be doing media commitments other times. Pre-game, post-game, access to the sheds, that sort of stuff won't be happening. But yeah, hopefully there's been a response and there'll be information out there, and we can talk about it more on the next time. But that's coming to a head. I mean, like I have to say that generally speaking, I tend to side with the players on things like this.
I tend to side with the players. What I don't side with are fucking cunt organisations like the RLPA. So I think it needs to be very firmly separated in terms of the players are not the RLPA. And the thing that I find fucking fishy here is that no one's actually come out and said what their issues are.
I think they probably have now, but we have to go and look at that because this only started.
Let's go through the RLPA statement. Right. So, recently, the RLPA, where was the RLPA stressed the boycott was designed to force a result in the negotiations. So not force a result, force their result. Let's be very careful of our words here, RLPA, you disingenuous cucks. The unreasonable ultimatum of the ARL Commission and the NRL and their refusal to negotiate the CBA has forced players into this action. Players have been clear in their unity and need for action based on our player leader meeting last night and during all our recent club visits. We have been forced into this position because of the NRL's take it or leave it offer. So again, it's not what they want. So I'm sure they would be quite happy with their take it or leave it situation. We are the party that's trying to keep things moving and reach an agreeable position. They have accepted all concessions the players have made to settle negotiations, but have made over 100 changes which further erode player positions. Don't go into at all what those positions are or what the changes are.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like a press conference.
No, this is their statement. The statement.
To speak. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it's a statement. If there's 100 changes, they can't detail.
These changes are listed and available for you to read on our website. They don't have to say them. Right?
Yeah. No, that's right. But I mean, I imagine that's what we're going to find.
But it is it's again this fucking bullshit, disingenuous stuff. It is clear they want to retain unreasonable power over us and your association.
No, I mean all the players are in it, right? So I mean, it is the players.
So, what does the boycott include? Will the media impact state of origin? Yes. They haven't gone into anything about what it is. And when something needs to stay fucking clandestine and hidden, that's what fucking worries me. Because there is no negotiation in the history of fucking mankind where one side is there saying, we would like the NRL to adopt fucking puppies and give them to orphans, and we will bear the cost of that, but we would like the NRL to do it in their name, and the NRL is going, no, we don't want fucking orphans to have puppies. Like, painting this fucking thing as the everyday little man player versus the big bad union busting NRL is fucking laughable. It is absolutely fucking laughable. Both of these sides have fucked this negotiation so severely. There is not a way that one side can take any sort of moral high ground. It's absolute bullshit. The players are responsible because they take absolutely no responsibility at all for the product that they put out there. They keep wanting to go out that there's no product without them and they're the product and they do this and they're the ones that put their body on the line. 100% absolutely don't disagree. However, they're the ones that hold clubs fucking ransom with poor performances and guaranteed contracts. The West Tigers are in the position they are in right fucking now because of guaranteed contracts. They have zero options than to stay with the players they have who have been shown not to perform over the last how many years.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like, what's his name? Warren McDonald?
Yeah.
That's probably who's responsible. I mean, because, I mean, you can have guaranteed contracts, but also, I mean, you can also offer contracts to like, your Elijah Taylors and...
Prediction.
James Tamou, old man, and, all these
things.
Prediction.
There are going to be some fucking scandals break in the next little while. Because I guarantee you that the fucking media outlets are working overtime, offering tens of thousands of dollars to anyone that has any sort of fucking dirt or gossip on any current or former NRL player. And if they don't have actual fucking news to report on, they are going to start fucking throwing so much non-football related shit out there, you watch that stuff rise over the next couple of weeks the longer this media ban goes on. Essentially saying
that seems though like, you know, that's ultimately detrimental to the media, not
how so?
Not the player. Because I mean, like this, part of the media thing is, you know, like the ability to, you know, form relationships and all of that sort of thing. I mean, you know, like, and if they go out burning
No, I'm not saying they
bridges,
burn. Well, how does releasing a scandal on one player burn bridges with their, you know, maybe some other players at their club, maybe some other players that they're friends with?
Yeah, I mean, you see this. I mean, if you see this happening, I mean, like, so everyone else involved, you fucking, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
so,
I get it.
The only people complaining at the moment about this situation are all journos, 100%. Because they're the ones that are the only thing at stake at this point is their access.
Until they realise that they don't actually need access, and this is the bit that scares me when they go, "Oh, hang on, we've had zero access, and all we've been doing is releasing fucking opinion pieces and clickbait, and our click-throughs are through the fucking roof." Yahoo!
Yeah, that says something about fucking a third segment that we haven't spoken about in this scenario. Fucking idiots on Twitter. people who click links.
Honestly, it's
for stories that have been conjured from what some dumb cunt said on 360 the night before.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to find a quote. Like, we had the Origin side. I mean, we'll talk about this more before the game next week, obviously. But Gutho's in, so, you know, I'm sure everyone's got opinions. I saw something that Fitler said about Gutho earlier today in the press conference, and I'm just trying to find it because it was fucking hilarious.
Hey, let me guess.
And,
I liked how they put on so many points against a team running in the bottom three of the competition. That's how I've selected everyone that I've changed in this team.
No, it wasn't that. It was what he said was. I'm just about here. He said this. He's been the best player in the comp in the last month, and when he hasn't been the best player, he's always been trying to be the best player. Right at the moment, we need people in the team who are just wholehearted. Brad Fittler on Clint Gutherson.
Oh, God.
Wednesday, the 5th of July, 2023.
I feel like Brandon Wakeham has also been trying to be the best player in the comp. As has Kurt Mann. Don't see them getting selected for Origin.
Well,
Kurt Mann must have come close.
He'd have to be on the cusp.
It'd be hard. Yeah. It'd be hard for fucking anyone from the Tigers to get it selected for Origin because they can't beat the Tigers.
Yeah.
That's some galaxy brain.
Well, that seems to be how Freddie picks his fucking sides.
Yeah. Now, I don't think there's any real other news. I mean, we sort of spoke about some of those other things, like the Holbrook, you know, contract being voided with those other guys as we were sort of going. So I am happy to proceed through to the few games we get this week. First one's going to be on Thursday. It's West Tigers. They're back against the Cronulla Sharks. The West Tigers side. Nofaluma's out, shoulder injury not dropped. Brent Naden's out, shoulder injury not dropped. Alex TWiL's out, suspended. So in comes Kapoa to the wing, Tommy Talau to the centre, and Itasi James to the bench. I believe he's debuting, right?
Yep.
There's some other changes, but fucking, you know.
But no one cares.
The Sharks. No one cares because they're not, like, there's nothing's happened in that side performance related. It's all injury or suspension. There's, like, after losing 74-0, nothing performance-related has happened in the constitution of that side. The Sharks, Hamlin Ueli's out, Finucane's out, Rudolph comes in, Colquhoun comes in, Cameron McInnes moves to lock from the bench. Is there going to be a big bounce back from the Tigers?
Look, you want to see a response, don't you? I mean...
Yeah, but doing nothing is a response, right? Choosing to do nothing is a response. Like,
it's still a choice. It's still a choice.
Yeah, I mean,
look, they have to be better. They have to be better than what they were last week. I'm not being tough. I'm not being tough on you. Why?
Honestly, why
Because
why do they?
you have to hold yourself. I don't know, just a personal accountability more than anything.
Yeah, but that's you. You're actually like a fully formed fucking human being.
You're saying that if the Tigers sat in bed all day this weekend after, having a rugby league hangover, you'd fucking judge them.
Oh, how to turn the table.
This motherfucker, the old fucking knee taker extraordinaire, is now hacking on me.
Can I just interject for a second?
At the moment, it's $9 to $1.06.
Yeah,
I'm looking at. Is that the biggest of the season?
$9.50 on Sportsbet.
Just to interject for a sec, I was just flicking through the end of the news. Turbo's in hospital.
Infection from following on from surgery. So, it's a part of surgery life. Unfortunately, the risk of that sort of shit. So
maybe have less surgery.
Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean any extra for any extra time or anything. I mean, he's already gone. So unless of course he gets like fucking MRSA or whatever, fucking super bug, and his pet gets eaten and he's fucking, that's the end of it.
But, can't tear it again if it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. Just go and fucking throw some stem cells on it.
Tigers in a golden point thriller in this one for me. $9.50. Get on it. The more you put on, the more you get back.
I don't even think the Tigers will be tired at fucking the 20-minute mark of this game.
Yeah.
They're not going to get 7. Look, let's be honest. They're not getting 74 put on them again. That's not going to happen.
Maybe 78.
No. It'll be 40-something.
I think the Sharks will understand the importance of not dropping these games during Origin. And then that mixed with Nico, who would have to feel fucking hardly done by the way he was treated. So he would love to watch what happens to New South Wales, because Freddie going.
Did you see how he came out in the media and said, "No, I'm not expecting a call up because I let my team and I let the state down"?
That's the guy you need.
That's an accountable. That's over accountable.
Because you got fucking 13 minutes.
Cleary missed the first shot on fucking Munster. I mean, if he had fucking grabbed him when he had the chance, he would never have gone through him.
Yeah,
through Nico. So he's he's being thrown on in a position he's probably never played. I mean, in the last fucking 8 minutes of a State of Origin game where he's debuting. I mean, that's fucking that's over
that, or it's him saying or knowing exactly what he needs to say in that situation, and I'm just as happy with that.
Yeah.
For a player
exactly.
to say exactly what they need to understand that falling on your sword sometimes isn't actually a real sword, and it won't kill you, and it shuts every cunt in the media up. Oh, Nico's got a point to prove. Nico's out to show Freddie he made a mistake. No, it just takes all of that bullshit away.
Just the maturity of
that's
it.
Just.
All right. The Dragons take on the Raiders at Wynn Friday night, 8 p.m. The Dragons side, Sloan is out. Margo is out. Ben Hunt is on Origin duty. Jaden Hunt is out. Paul Turner comes into fullback. Moses Sully to centre. Talatau Amoni to 5'8", and Daniel Russell to the bench. Raiders side.
Can't tip against the Raiders. Oh, sorry.
Big Red.
Go through these cunts.
The Freckle, Corey Horsburgh, he is on Origin duty. Basami Solo's out. Trey Mooney to the bench. Nick Kotrick to the bench. And Peter Holler to the bench. Look, I mean, you can't, much like the Tigers, you can't tip the Dragons.
You could not. You just can't.
Untippable.
Yeah.
Raiders by plenty.
Yep. Training run for the Raiders. It really is. They lose nothing. I mean, they lose a bit of fire from fucking Corey. That's it. Otherwise, they're just going to keep trucking us. I mean, this is the thing. You're talking about the Sharks having to win this game against the Tigers. This is the sort of game the Raiders have to win, and also this is a game that surely they would look at as an opportunity to redress some of that massive deficit they have in for and against as well, and try and give themselves a bit more of a bit of a stronger position inside the top 8.
Yep.
The Eels take on the Warriors. The Eels side, is Origin affected? Gutherson, Moses, RCG out. Lume comes into the wing. Moretti to the bench. Sean Lane to the bench. The Warriors side. No changes from the last match. And let me tell you, we talk about Freddie's galaxy brain fucking selections, right? I've got something that's not galaxy brain. I'm going to call it, let's just say straight up bitch ass cowardice. RCG gets selected in game 3 and Cleary's a little eye out there. Makes you think that maybe RCG wasn't there. Because I understand there was probably an injury question over him the first game, but the second game, it was Freddie like, oh, I can't, I am so terrible at coaching, I can't manage that.
Is it really that big a thing?
Oh, he ruffled some fucking feathers when he left.
Yeah,
like he.
And they seem to keep. It seems to be an ongoing thing when they play each other.
It was, the comments he made, alluding to the fact, well, I stopped trying at the end of my contract.
Yeah, right. Okay.
To which they took great fucking offence in that. Well, no matter what, you don't stop trying. So. Who fucking knows?
To the Warriors, this is a great opportunity for the Warriors to bounce back from the disappointment of last week against a side that's, hoping to make their mark in the finals. It's a game that the Warriors need to lose because, they're very close to slipping out the back of the 8, despite how well they've gone this year. They kind of need to win because, Manly's going to pick up some points from the bye, so they'll be 1 point behind them on the table. The Cowboys are starting to surge a little bit, and they're 1 win behind the Warriors, and then you got the Titans and the Dolphins still around there, and I guess the Roosters as well would probably be where you draw the line underneath for possible chances.
Yeah, I'm almost expecting the Warriors to win though. I think they're a strong show, and Para's obviously down on 3 critical players on Origin duty, and fucking Madison 6. Still don't like that, but yeah, I think the Warriors 1-12.
Yeah, really. The Eels have gone okay with outs, but this time it's the most outs that they've had to deal with because you can add Gutho to the pile of guys out, and he's kind of been the only guy,
But also
getting them going.
You've had previously when Moses has been out, the Eels have still had great performances, but that's relied on Brown sort of getting some breathing room.
Yeah,
and he
on
that's
sexual
it. And
touching.
he'd had some of the best games that he'd played when Moses wasn't there, and he was allowed to run the show a little bit. And obviously, that's not going to happen.
No. Fuck it. Warriors to bounce back. Let's go. Deserved favourites.
Let's go on.
The Rabbitohs take on the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium. The Rabbitohs changes. Kenner is out. Cody Walker, Kaloma Tungi, Cameron Murray and Damien Cook, those 4 on Origin duty. So Tass comes into centre, Hawkins to 5'8", Lovett second row, Peter Mamazoulis to the bench, and Tallis Duncan to the bench. Doggies. Okay, so Perham has been dropped. Alamotti dropped. Adokar to Origin. Rajab dropped. Braden Burns comes in. Blake Wilson comes in. Sexy Boy, midweek transfer from the Titans. He comes straight into halfback. And Flano Jr. to the bench.
If the Knights put 66 on the fucking Bulldogs, Jesus Christ.
I think Sexton is a great pickup for the Bulldogs. I actually think he's a decent player and probably not one that the Titans should have. I understand the Titans were a little bit heavy in the halves, given they brought 4, and I think he's got more upside than someone like Tanner Boyd.
Yeah, I'd agree with
but
that.
But maybe he needed a bit more time though to realise it, and I can't imagine that trade that transfer would have happened without Des saying, "Nah, it's cool. No plans." No plans next year for him, and I guess if they do manage to secure a release for Ben Hunt, then he's absolutely surplus to their needs at that point.
So is that them
good.
just making space?
Yeah, I would say so. And look, I think, but he's a good pickup for the Dogs. Would have cost them fuck all, and he's probably a better halfback than they've had in the club all season to date. So I guess we'll see how he goes. But what an opportunity for the Rabbits, even without their big names. I mean, it's an opportunity for them to just keep it going.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
just probably fine tune a bit of their form. As like we said earlier, some of their performances in recent time have been, and there's been reasons for it, but it hasn't been to their standard. And I think they're trying to claw some of that back, and this is a good opportunity to do it.
Yeah, because it's an opportunity for the South's forwards just to sort of take charge.
Yeah.
And just try and just roll through the Bulldogs like the way the Knights rolled through the Bulldogs in the forwards last week. There hasn't been any changes to the pack really from the Dogs this week. So yeah, that's the key. Those guys have to actually take it upon themselves, understand that all these guys, Cody and Co, they're all out. So it's going to have to start from them.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, and like let's face it, if they're being fucking serious, like if the Rabbits are serious and they think and they have aspirations to do something this season, then they will. And the Doggies, I can't imagine they'll have too much for them.
Yeah. Interesting.
Titans.
They've got just on South, they got Havili at hooker, and without starting Mamas Ellis, which I think is an interesting selection, but two obviously very different players and both different contrast to Cook for the Rabbits. So. Yeah. Probably good opportunity to fine tune some of that rotation for come finals time.
And Havili's like he's a tougher sort of player.
Yeah.
So I think just having him to start the game is probably smart, and also he's just got far more first grade experience as well.
Exactly.
So,
and a great fucking player manager.
Yeah, and a great manager. Great, one of the greatest. Some say
a lot of people have said it. You're hearing it more and more.
Yep. Well, at least from two of us. I mean, one of us is just, shits on the guy.
Yeah, the world needs balance.
The Titans take on the Dolphins Sunday afternoon down at Hope Solo. And the Titans side, Brimson, he's off on Origin duty. Fodawaker out, Tino as well, and David Fafita, of course, all off to Queensland Origin side. Who else they got? Philip Sami comes in. Isaac Fasul Malawi comes in. Cleese Haas and Jacob Alec to the bench. Dolphin side, the Hammers out on Origin duty. Felice Kafusi's out. Milford comes in. Jared Wallace comes in. And, that's how it is. Have the Dolphins got enough back? Have they played pretty well, I think. And like we said, it was only some absolute individual brilliance really that knocked them out of that game. Against the Broncos.
Yeah. I think Dolphins. Titans side, even with some of those outs, but those outs for the Titans are absolutely critical.
Tino and Fodawaker, like they're big. And in just the general play, those two are massive outs. And obviously, David Fafita, what he's been doing, particularly in attack.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's some outs.
Yep. Hammer's a big one, but I think Nikorima at fullback. For isolated week here, week there, I think he can still bring it. And, I think Dolphins in a pretty close one. I think it'll be a good contest.
Dolphins with the upset.
There you go.
And all the good teams got the week off. So, buys all around. And so we get to watch fucking cunt week 2023 when everyone else fighting over the scraps.
That's it.
And so that brings us into 5:23. Thanks for listening. As always, thisweekinleague.com. Go get links, join the communities, get a part of it. You want to be a part of the conversation? You got to get yourself to where the conversation's taking place.
Tell ya, if you want first dibs on now, fucking like obviously on the way Big Diesel merch.
Yeah, that's it. You got to be there. You got to know it because when it drops, I mean, fuck. You thought Taylor Swift tickets were hard to get. Jesus Christ, the Big Diesel merch. Whew. You'll be sitting on the thisweekinleague.com fucking watching the blue bar for your chance to go into the fucking queue for 7-8 hours minimum.
Love it.
Before I turn it on. Yeah, they've waited enough. Excuse me, still fucking suffering from this chest infection.
It's going around. It's going
it affects
around.
you after wins and losses. It just affects you. Just won't go away. And it's funny because literally zero other symptoms. And in fact, you don't. It's other than early in the morning and later at night, as when it's cooler. You go through the whole day there's nothing there, and then you don't realise until it gets a bit cold. And you're like, oh fuck, there it is.
Are you super hydrating at the moment? Yeah. However hydrated you think you are.
Oh, always. Yeah. I only drink water.
It's about the volume,
constantly.
not the exclusivity. Hydration is not the Kardashians.
Well, no, that's right. But you have to fucking if it's the only thing you're drinking, then obviously you got to drink, right?
Yeah. Okay. So
me,
you
I'm
would be less
tired. Let's
hydrated
fucking call
if
it
you
a
had
night,
one
boys.
glass of water than if you had fucking 20 cans of Coke. What you drink doesn't matter so much.
Yes. Well, yeah, 20 cans of water, 20 glasses of water versus 20 cans of Coke. It's obviously...
The water content would be almost identical. Identical.
The caffeine would have an impact.
This is
on
my
your
glass.
hydration.
This is my water glass. It goes up to
There you go.
900 mils.
So yeah, super hydrate yourself if you got the shit on your chest.
Yep.
Look, at the end of the day, if you're going to take advice,
at the end of the day,
it from...
I don't feel. At the end of the day, I don't feel bad at all. It's just
just
just coughing now and then.
If you're going to take advice,
there's no
on how to get rid of
He's
his
got
cough.
it. That's how I did mine.
when you had it.
Go. How'd you do your
No,
chest?
Okay,
I'm
cool.
just saying, if you're going to
How do you
take
do your chest
advice from fucking anyone as to how to get rid of a cough, take it from a guy that's coughed non-stop fucking 3 years.
Yeah, that's
Fuck
true.
out of here, cunt.
It's like asking you for a cure for the sniffles.
That'll do us.
See you next week.
See ya.